Hello, everybody. Steve Britton here yet again. This is show number, I think it's 4. So, what I wanted to share with you today is not opinion based. This is actually science. This is another passion of mine because this weekend we got in the car and we drove south. On Saturday at around 9 o'clock, we left this place, and it must have been around 10 p.m. that we finally rolled in to the motel in Salmon, Idaho. Wonderful people. We had an absolute great time. We went whitewater rafting on the Sunday, and on the Monday, we hopped in the car and we drove even further south, down near a small town called Dubois, or as the Idahoans call it, Du Bois. And down there, last Monday, we took in one of the greatest things that I've ever seen. We gave our eyes a very good time because we watched the total eclipse of the sun. This is the eclipse that I have been waiting for 38 years. I'm older than 38, but I didn't find out about eclipses until I was, I'm 7 or 8. It was 1979. I was sitting in my house in Vancouver when we watched the eclipse of 1979 on TV because it was a gorgeous, cloudy day, as always, in Vancouver, BC. And it wouldn't have been a total eclipse anyway because the eclipse very rarely comes far enough north that we in Canada get to see one. Now, there's good news for Canadians. If you're in or near southern Ontario or northern New York State in, I think it's 2024, you're going to be treated to one of these great events, and you'll get to see one yourselves. Let's hope it's a beautiful sunny day, because in the east the weather is far less reliable than it is out here in the west. So, that being said, the eclipse started. We all got excited. Out of my family, I am the most excitable person by far, especially over something like this. I have always wanted to see a total eclipse, and now I've managed to do it. Now, eclipses can be quite dangerous, of course, if you don't have your special eclipse shades, and they have to be endorsed by the American Astronomical Society. If not, they are not necessarily safe. What you need to do is, if you look through them, you have to be able to see absolutely nothing unless you hold them up in front of your eyes and you look through, and you should only be able to see the sun through them. That's how much light they need to filter out. So, we were lucky we had the right kind of glasses, and first contact hit, and gradually the moon covered up more and more of the sun. Hello everybody, it's Steve here. I am down in Idaho near the town of Du Bois, spelled Dubois for us crazy Canucks out there, and behind me the sun is shining away and doesn't know what's going to hit it. And just a few minutes ago, what has hit the sun is the shadow of the moon, or the silhouette rather, of the moon. And we are getting ready and gearing up for the total eclipse of the sun of 2017. It must have been, I'd say probably around 3/4 of the way there, when we noticed first that our shadows were becoming less distinct. Now, I've seen that effect before. The light dims, of course, gradually, and then our shadows became less and less distinct as the moon covered up more and more of the sun and far less light reaches the earth. One thing I wasn't expecting, though, was for the temperature to drop. Hello again. It is actually getting colder here as the sun gets covered up by the moon, and we're noticing as well that our shadows, it is now very noticeably dimmer here. So that's an interesting little effect that very few people seem to talk about. Once the moon completely obscured the sun, of course, then everything changed. The last few moments were like taken a dimmer switch and just rapidly turning it down. It never got completely dark. What was the most eerie part of it was the fact that it was like twilight, and all around us, on every single horizon, we could see light. It was like we were in a pool of darkness, surrounded by a very large field of light. It was like it was sunset on every horizon. It is sunset in 360 degrees around me here at the site of the total eclipse. Now this camera does not do it justice. I've got some really good pictures with my other camera, but there you are, sunset all around. 360 degrees of sunset. Cool or what? And then of course the moon moved away about 2 minutes later. We got the old diamond ring effect, which is absolutely beautiful. You've got to be careful with that because, of course, you're looking at the total eclipse. The moon's completely covered up the sun, and then wham! You get smashed with this beam of light as the moon just uncovers that first little bit of the sun. I caught a bit of a flash in one of my eyes, but I was lucky. I'm okay. So we got the diamond ring effect, and then, of course, the moon moved off and light returned. And again, it was just like turning that dimmer switch back up again. And the light came back, and everything went back to normal. The temperature re-rose, and we had lunch. We got in the car, and we headed towards the I-15, where we had a 2-hour delay due to construction. You'd think that the construction companies would actually give the guys the day off to allow the eclipse traffic to clear before resuming work. But no, of course not. They couldn't do that. So that was my weekend, and I just wanted to share with you the experience that I had. We met up with some really wonderful, fun people at the eclipse site, and we made some really good friends, and hopefully this is an opportunity that many of you were able to take advantage of. And if you did, share your eclipse stories in the comments below, because I'm curious. I want to know what your experience was like. It was great for me. I absolutely loved it. It was a bit long, I have to admit. It does take a while for it to reach the climax of the event. But it's a great experience, and I highly recommend it to anybody. If you get the chance to see one, jump at it. Take the opportunity to see one of the most amazing things that you will ever see in your entire life. It doesn't happen in your area very often. For example, I live in Calgary, and we're not going to see a total eclipse in Calgary until 2047, I think it is. It might be 2045, one of those two. It's easy to look up on the internet. You can just Google when's the next eclipse in Calgary. But most of you probably don't live in Calgary, so you'll have to Google, or actually don't use Google, use Duck Search or whatever it's called. Don't use Google because they're social justice warriors, and we're trying to avoid them, of course. But use a search engine and look up when the next eclipse is in your area, or where the next closest eclipse is to you, because it's really worth the opportunity to see. So there you go. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be going back to my normal political commentary from here on in. And it's quite likely that I'm going to throw in some daily stuff as well in the near future. That will be audio only, because I've discovered that doing live streaming from this place, the video is garbage. So it'll be an audio only daily cast. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's probably going to be where I go on the mic and I just keep going until I'm done. But of course I'll probably do the weekly videos, some kind of Patreon thing. I'm probably going to have to bite the bullet and set up with Patreon. But I'm going to be with Minds.com. I'm going to be with Patreon. I'm going to be loading videos onto vid.me. And, of course, the old YouTubes as well, until YouTube kicks me off. So, anywhere, please subscribe to my channel. Please comment below. Please like this video. And in this one, share me the eclipse stories that you've got, because I'm always interested to hear and read what you have to say as well. And that's it for me. I'm Steve Britton.